What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another episode of The Kingdom Says. I am your host, as always tonight, Garrett Williams, and I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, as always. At the top right of the screen, we've got Mr. Arrowhead Tom, who is no longer in the top right of the screen because we have switched that. It was like that last week, and it was messed up.
I know, and I realized as you were making the introduction that I'll still go
I
next.
started to say something, but I had a different screen up, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah.
I knew I was in the wrong spot.
I'm sorry to totally interrupt that, but it threw me off. Me and Taylor belong on the bottom down here. But no, sorry to completely. But I'll introduce. Yeah, well, listen, Garrett, I'm doing great. I know you're going to ask me how I'm doing, so I'm doing great. I am clearly here for the chaos of the evening and the off season.
It's a great sound how this episode's going to be.
Yeah, it's a vibe tonight. This is going to be a different episode than what you are used to. So buckle up, our friends. Do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Also, share this or tag the biggest Swiftie that you know in the comments. Share the episode with them because we are diving in to our Taylor Swift era. So show us some love.
We sure are. It is the Taylor Swift Kingdom Says era officially. Also join us, Kyle Henning, of course. Kyle, how we doing tonight?
Well, it's my first day off in 12 days. So, and I did a bunch of yard work today, so I really didn't have a whole lot of off. But,
perfect day to do yard work.
I'm enjoying my evening. My favorite sport is in its peak era at the moment. We're going to keep things on brand with the eras conversation. This is the best era every season of every season in the NHL. It's the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's Game 7 this evening. So if I seem a little distracted for the next 4-ish game time minutes, I apologize. I'm currently watching that, and I've made new friends tonight. They all really like me. They're all really happy with me.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
I don't know if you guys can tell or not. There might be sarcasm in there.
Messing well with the people.
I do enjoy people that have never once put on the skates before in their life telling me about a game and a sport I played literally my entire life at a decently high level. Not crazy high, but
I sure have. I'll tell you what, I've never strapped on a pair of skates.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. The internet is great for things like that. It does remind me, it gives me time to enjoy things and see things from different perspectives. And we're going to talk about a bunch of angles and perspectives tonight from our boys' performance that I'm sure most of you have seen by now. So like Tom and Barrett mentioned, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. So strap in, enjoy. It's going to be a little goofy. It's going to be a little fun. It's an off-season episode in freaking June. We could talk about other stupid stuff that doesn't actually matter, or we can have some fun with some stuff that's actually relevant right now.
Listen, Garrett, Kyle messaged me. They said, Tom? And I said, yes, Garrett and Kyle. And they said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm watching draft film. And they said, stop it. And I said, I can't. And then they said, we're going to do an episode, and we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. So I've converted all my draft prospect energy into researching Taylor Swift. I am not a Swiftie. I
literally have an Eras guide up on my computer. So.
Yes, we've got it. Listen, my office here looks like a crime scene, and not just because Scout scratched my head. If you're seeing the little blood there, I'm okay. It was out of love. Anyways, I've got strings, and we've got everything connected. We're going to talk about how Taylor Swift and the Chiefs have paralleled each other, and all this has led to a championship era for both Kansas City and Miss Swift and her love life to the, irreplaceable, unimitatable Travis Kelce. What a power couple.
Wow.
Let's just talk about
what an eloquent soliloquy right there by Tom, too. I mean, geez Louise.
I'm going to go look up what soliloquy means real quick. And then
you almost missed third base there at the end, but you came around. You still came around. It was good. We're talking about one of the only relevant things that there is to talk about in Chiefs Kingdom that's pretty positive, at least, which is Travis Kelce making an appearance on Taylor Swift's concert, whatever concert the Era Tour. Still the Era Tour.
It's been three nights at Wembley in London.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
huge.
The
first big stage.
Probably sold out.
The first night they had a crew. The second night they had a pretty good crew too. The third night they had a crew, and we'll talk about it. But they used an absolute legend to sneak Travis out during his little adventure. So it's been fun to watch him have fun, and Jason and all of them really enjoy everything, and really embrace it. Especially Jason. Jason looks like he is having the bestest time. The friendship bracelets, the picture of him with the beer, the friendship bracelets, the friendship bracelets on his ears. I don't know if that was a Black and Mild or a cigarette or what that was, or maybe something else.
Cigar or something.
But it was he was just a vibe, and they're all having a blast. They're signing autographs, and he's trying to get himself a part in the next Mission Impossible movie, it looked like, and all kinds of things. So it's fun to see him be so comfortable, because we all know him as a guy who's comfortable on pretty much any stage in front of any microphone. But that's a different level. And to see him go out and do what he did was extremely impressive, if not anything else, as much as it was fun.
And it was adorable. Can we just talk about how cute it was? Like, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for it. I can't handle it. I'm a hopeless romantic. Y'all know this.
They're that gross cute couple, but not gross because they're actually cute and awesome. Like, it's usually you get like the weird reactions to it. They're not a weird reaction couple. That's just natural. He's just supportive and she's just supportive. Yeah. They're not
it's just the natural chemistry
people for them.
The natural chemistry
for the other person. That's good to see in a relationship.
Yeah.
Man, isn't that true, right? Ain't that something,
I'm sorry, Garrett. I know you're a little young yet. You still have like a
I'm in Tom's mode of hopeless romantic, but it's just I just find it funny that we're talking about this on Kingdom Says, but here we are.
Would you have ever dreamed we'd be having a conversation about Travis Kelce performing at a Taylor Swift concert 4 years ago?
It is very wild. It honestly, though, I mean, it does not surprise me one bit if we obviously look at Kelce's track record. He's hosted SNL. He's done a lot of performative stuff. He's a big actor guy.
Ran his own dating show.
Yeah, had his own reality show.
Women or whatever it was.
Yeah, man is a performer for sure, and him and it was also cool to see him and Colin Saunders' brother Cam up there.
Of extremely talented individuals.
Yeah, pretty crazy that Travis. People were talking about how Travis has now played with one and performed with the other brother, which is pretty crazy. Very weird crossover. But it's just
this whole timeline is a weird crossover.
It's a very weird timeline that we're in.
I'm telling you, my conspiracy is that this has been in the cards the entire time.
This timeline has definitely been the result of a time traveler going back.
Sir, are you saying this is scripted?
No, I'm saying this is fate.
I'm kidding.
Destiny.
It's fate. I mean, it's the most random piece of fate, but I think it's a great time. It is a great time. So yeah, the performance is great. I think Travis really enjoyed that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you can top that though. The next time, I don't know what else.
Well, and I think
where
Travis is very supportive and isn't there. He doesn't want to steal the show or whatever. So in that instance, and not that he would like. Let's be real. Like Taylor Swift is a huge individual, megastar. Like I'm not for the record, but he wants to be there to support her and that kind of thing. And it was an awesome moment. I don't know. Well, I'm sure he makes appearances and all that stuff, but he really does put a lot of energy into her doing her thing, just like she's done with him. Like that's been the coolest thing, like watching two people really hype each other up at a championship level on both sides. So gosh, here I am. Yeah. Anyways, let's
maybe the next time we would see him on stage with her is if he like got featured in a song or something. Maybe got a little guest verse on a something. Yeah.
Proposals, weddings, all that stuff. Whatever happens next.
Yeah. Look at this crazy segue. Ready for this? Ready? So either Travis crosses over into her world, or or they line Taylor Swift up
Are we already ready to transition to that?
I just saw the segue and I took it. So that's I
shout out to friend of the pod, Josh Briscoe, for the idea.
We gotta
for Taylor Swift.
Oh, did Josh have that? I did not see this.
He tweeted it out earlier today.
I did not see his.
I think it was after we discussed it. We discussed the idea of what celebrity would be a good crossover, and then somebody had tweeted it.
We were conjuring up the ideas in the group chat tonight.
Yeah. I did not see Josh fire that out. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, good idea, Josh. But we're gonna definitely do that. I did want to briefly talk about the Travis performance, though. I mean, he walked out after. First of all, they used Paul McCartney to sneak him out because they have Paul McCartney out dancing in the crowd to one of the songs, and as he's doing that, Travis is going out of the tent and out to go get changed. But he goes up in Wembley for a first appearance ever doing something like that. And that's different than SNL or anything else. That's your girl's show, and she's the biggest performer in the world. You can't mess up. There's you don't really get a mulligan on that one. There's a little bit of pressure there. I can't wait for the New Heights episode to hear. I hope Jason makes him talk about everything.
No kidding.
But he comes out and he hits the heel click first of all, just off rip, boop, and I was like, oh, Travis is in
a world-class athlete right there. Just a world-class athlete.
He comes out and hits the heel click, and then he's naturally funny because he fans himself instead of her to start with, and then when he's doing the makeup brush and all of that, just the little mannerisms, the little behaviors, just killing it. The whole performance, he did everything, the little things, especially because you paid attention to Taylor Swift, she's an Easter egg person. So the little stuff in there matters to her shows and her performances, and he made sure he did all of his parts. I'm happy for the dude, and I'm happy he crushed it as much as he did when he went out there, because you can't get much of a better audition for anything you want to do post NFL career than, well, I mean, I absolutely nailed my only guest appearance on the biggest performers in the world stage.
Yeah, I mean, walk it off. Just walk it off right there, and then and call it a good career in the performing arts stage, you might say. So yeah, it was great. It was a great time. Obviously, the social media absolutely blew up because of it. It was a big surprise to everybody. So the reaction was pretty great. From everybody. I think sports people were like, man, that's great. It's almost like, like Dancing with the Stars in a way. If you see someone, like a good athlete, and you're like, wow, great job, but like, this is real life, this is like a real, obviously he didn't do a ton, but like, it was great. It was a great performance. And I think everybody was very impressed by him, both sides of the world, the Taylor Swift world and the sports world.
It's a crazy crossover, man. But it's fun to watch because it's very natural. But also, when you look at who's in that VIP tent and in that booth all 3 nights, like that's Sophia Turner was there for that. And also, after Tom Cruise gets done and he goes back to the tent, they're all pumping him up and talking to him about it and asking him about it or whatever. I mean, it's really cool to watch him be so, and of course, I mean, he's comfortable anywhere, it seems like, but he's so naturally comfortable in an environment where most humans would freeze.
Yeah. So that's a great segue. Not really, but it's a segue. We're going to segue to the topic, the next topic of the night. I hinted to earlier.
As often as you use that word.
Segue?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great word. It's a great word.
It's a good company. It's a fun little product. You should wear a helmet when you use one of those.
It's just
we're out here deep in our bag of vocabulary tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Great word, great vehicle, great motorized product. Whatever you want it to be is there for you. All right. Segue. So listen, topic number 2 of the night, segueing into out of Taylor Swift. Also segueing into Taylor Swift talk. Because there's a conversation on Twitter about the fact that the Chiefs should pay Taylor back for letting Travis perform with her by letting her play a snap or two. Get her in some pads, line her up out there. She could maybe play wide receiver, as some hinted to. Maybe get her kicking form. Maybe she can be on the kickoff. See what that does. There's always fun stuff there. So that leads to a discussion of what other celebrity people that are associated with the Chiefs, that are Chiefs fans, would you like to see play in a Chiefs uniform? One snap. It won't be like that video with the Make-A-Wish kid who, they part the way with him and then he gets absolutely clobbered by a safety at the end. It won't be like that. This is real life. This is live action. Putting the pads on. Maybe it's preseason game. I don't know, but it's live action.
Yeah, I'd prefer preseason so that nobody has to.
Yeah, maybe it's preseason
game. Die in a real game.
Yeah, I mean, that would be tough.
Look, man, I know people don't seem to understand this, but they are actual car accidents. Like every NFL hit is basically a car crash. They've measured it. They can do that now. The force exerted and applied by these guys is crazy. So, it's a fun conversation. It makes you think if you want to be realistic or fun. Who wants to go first on this one?
Ooh, I'm gonna go first because I don't have a really fun original one. Okay. But I'll steal the fun, the easy one, I think, for me. But let's put Superman in some pads. Let's get Henry Cavill out there, and I don't know. He's a big dude. He's 6'1", right? We know he's jacked.
We know he can move. That Witcher role was not easy.
Yeah, he's a little up there in age, but he played sports in high school, right? Field hockey and rugby, and we've already got one guy we're converting over from rugby. Why not, let him play a snap on special teams, or I don't know. We could use a third string quarterback. Anything's better than who's the guy? Boucher, the guys whose name I still can't pronounce. Yeah, no. I say that, but all love to Shane. Yeah, I mean, let's play around. Let's get Superman out there in the red and yellow. Switch him over from the red and blue. Yeah, I mean, there's yellow on the Superman. Well, in the original one, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm going with Superman. Give me Henry.
Yeah,
all right. I like it.
That's a good choice. It's smart to choose someone athletic. I think that's probably a smarter choice. My choice is not going to be that exactly. My initial thought, just get a big guy in there and just steamroll him through the pocket. You can even get a first down out of him. Put Eric Stonestreet in at fullback, and let that guy eat. I don't know. Might work. It's a big guy. You get maybe get him in
a tough ask.
Maybe get him into a tush push situation.
There's a lot of meat in there. There's a lot of big dudes. They're not.
I'm just saying, you get another big dude in there, or you put him out wide at tackle. You put him in reserve tackle and you run a little, a little tackle.
I like that idea.
Short route for him.
We briefly talked about that. I can see him being an extra offensive lineman and then running that whole one of those big fish packages or one of the other plays we've run over the years for the other big boys. I've gone about 15 different directions in my head. I've gone everywhere from Henry Winkler just because I want to see him after his water boy
dead body.
Coach. Hey man. If they just sneak him out into the flat and nobody would cover him, they wouldn't think he'd be able to do anything. So if he just runs out into the flat, out of the backfield, catches it in the end zone, and doesn't have to get hit, we're good. It's fine.
Run
therein lies my issue is I don't want to see
motion,
that man hurt. I like Henry. I want him to be around.
Just have him run the corn dog route, Just have him run the corn dog, come in motion.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're biting on that the same way though, with him running that.
It's going to take a while. We got a play clock to worry about here.
It's funny that you mentioned the corn dog motion because the guy that I guess I've decided that I'm going to go with is a guy who's very athletic. Matter of fact, he's probably going to be one of the more athletic people you could ask. I would put Bobby Witt Jr. at wide receiver and have some fun.
Yeah.
Because that kid can flat out fly. And can you imagine being able to have Bobby and Patrick throw the ball from, Patrick, Bobby, behind and then throw it forwards? Hey, We said celebrity / Kansas City person. There is no
that's
other
like
bigger
saying,
name.
That's like saying Jason Kelce is your pick. Just
I'd like to see Patrick play third base for the Royals. And also, I'd like to see Jason Kelce play center for the Chiefs if we could have arranged that. But we have Creed, and we don't need that. So, no big deal.
I'm just saying, though, it's like a technicality. I don't know. You might
if you don't like that, I will give you one more. You might be losing
your edge a little bit there on your skate.
I don't know. He's playing wide receiver, too. I mean, you might just put him out there at quarterback, put him wildcat, maybe.
Because what are you doing with Patrick?
Well, I'm just saying, like you
do not take Patrick off the field. You run two quarterbacks.
He's backup quarterback. In preseason, you get a camp arm. You get a camp arm in preseason. Send him out there.
I'm not using one of the most special athletes I've seen in a long time, regardless of sport, as a camp arm quarterback. I'm not.
He's him out there as a camp arm. He's got to play. He's got to get back in time for spring training.
But the other thought that I had that I actually did enjoy would be seeing our guy Rob Riggle get out there. He's a bigger dude, played sports. I know he's a little older now, but I think Rob would be good with it. He'd be funny. He'd have the guy covering him laughing so hard he wouldn't be able to probably pay attention to what he was doing. A, because Rob Riggle is on the field playing NFL football, and B, because he said something hilarious while doing it. So I would like to see Riggs, and plus, that's a dude that's ride or died, kind of like Stone Street with that franchise with the franchise through all the good and the bad times. So it'd be fun to see him get a little one play fun action out there. If you're not gonna let me have the Bobby Witt Jr., because that's easily the answer for me.
Yeah, no, I can see. I mean, hey, listen, I can see it happening. Maybe a couple other candidates. You can get like Paul Rudd out there, get him.
Only if he gets to use the Ant-Man suit.
Yeah. I was going to say, Colorado's Ant-Man would be a good one.
That would be a good one, yeah.
If he gets to use the Ant-Man suit, I'm fine. Otherwise, he's just going to smolder the DB to death, I guess, or something. I don't. He's just that dude's main talent is he's funny and unnaturally handsome for as old as he is.
Yeah. But if he's Ant-Man, though, that's a different story.
Ant-Man in the end zone on a goal line fade. You start out.
He's all of a sudden 2,000 feet tall and cannot be guarded.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Patrick can throw it out of the stadium because he's going to need to.
Yeah, I'm here for that. That was I thought about that, but since the Ant-Man
thing also catch the ball and then just go little and go underneath.
Exactly, just hand it off to him in the backfield, and then he just goes small and then
underneath them all. Yeah. Submarine play.
He just runs it in there. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Stomp on him?
Well, if you go to stomp on him, he just presses the button and lifts your foot up, and you're gone.
That's true. Yeah. Plus, he's like super strength, anyways. When he's, I think I don't know. I didn't watch the Ant-Man movies, but I'm sure it was.
Boo! Sorry, Gary Bettman's on my TV. It's contractually obligated that I boo Gary Bettman anytime that I see him. Dude's an absolute waste of space.
That's all right. He was in the Marvel movie though.
Gary Bettman.
Who?
No. I was booing and apologizing. Sorry.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were booing me.
Yeah. Are we?
No, I was booing something on my television. The worst commissioner in sports.
Oh.
Are we ready to get into this breakdown?
Yeah, let's do it, Tom. What are we breaking down as the third and final topic of the show?
Listen, this is I have been laboring over. I've been breaking this down bit by bit, year by year, analyzing both the trajectory of Taylor Swift's career and the trajectory of the Kansas City Chiefs since Taylor Swift became a public figure. So, if you will indulge me a little bit.
Okay? And if anybody wants to argue with this, we have notes and a guide and a breakdown for this. So we did our homework and our research.
I have consulted an expert, somebody very dear to me. I have a Taylor Swift expert on standby if we need clarification. So, let's start in the beginning. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs have been a franchise since 1969. That's been longer than what Taylor has been alive. But she was thrust into the public spotlight. Her debut album, kind of the start of her career, was 2006. 2006, 2009, that's the article we're going on. That's the debut era. Now, this is interesting because when she started, she was like a country artist, right? And she actually won, best new country artist and that kind of thing. And she was very. I think
you
that
said
was
69. It is 1959. I don't want anybody freaking out on us.
I'm sorry, 69 was when they won the Super Bowl. You're correct. So that was a time period where
I didn't want anybody yelling at us for that one before we ever get started on the Taylor stuff.
I know more about the Taylor Swift. So okay, so Taylor Swift, she's young, she's getting out there. I feel like there's a lot of times where, I mean, she was 16, right? So she started early, which is really impressive. She this time period I felt like was very ambiguous. She was trying to figure out who she was. And if you go back to the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They were in a very similar spot. They were both experiencing some success, right? The Chiefs in 2006 went 9-7. But that was the first year under Herm Edwards. And that was a time where and the parallel here is they were both trying things that weren't good fits, if that makes sense, right? Like they were doing well, their talent was showing.
Working. It just wasn't. It wasn't perfect
for
elite.
Yep.
Jared Allen draft year though. Jared Allen draft year.
Yeah. So, so 9-7 for the Chiefs.
So glad we let him go do a bunch of stuff with the Vikings for like a decade. That was great.
Man, I love Jared Allen. I'd love Jared Allen.
And at the same time, this is a time where you had guys like Larry Johnson was still on the team. We're not going to talk about him.
He was a dog.
Hey man, he was good when he was there.
He was a dog. I have a Larry Johnson jersey in my closet.
We're not talking about him as for the off the field stuff.
He was a dog.
Just keep it on the field. We're good. Just on the field, he was great.
Yeah.
He's literally like a 97 overall in men.
Oh yeah,
don't worry about
it. He was untackleable.
Yeah, don't worry about that. So again, we have this era time
Eddie
where
Kennison,
like we're trying to find ourselves a little bit, and we're growing. We're seeing the flashes, we're seeing the potential, and there was a lot of potential on those rosters, but it never came all together, right? What was that?
Sorry, I meant maybe it was Derek Johnson who got drafted in 2006. Not.
I think it was Johnson. Johnson was
we didn't draft Eddie Kennison, and let's keep that conversation on the field. Eddie was fine on the field also. We'll keep that one 100% on the field.
Yeah. Now we enter an interesting era for both Taylor Swift and Chiefs Kingdom. The 2009-2010. For Taylor, this was her
Jared Allen drafted in 2004, so
right. Yes, her second album. What was that?
Sorry, I think it's Tom Holly.
Draft picks.
Oh, we're in the middle of something here, Garrett.
I'm sorry.
This is important
myself.
for our listeners.
It was Tom Holly. Final answer. I knew that the entire time. It was always Tom Holly. All right, it was always Tom Holly. That's what we were talking about the whole time. Tom Holly.
Cool. That's what we were talking. That's what you were talking about. I'm over here. Listen, I'm deep in this.
Sorry, Tom. I know you did a lot of research in this, and keep on going.
Listen, I've thrown myself into this. So this was an interesting time because I feel like for Chiefs fans, they want to forget this era, right? Even though there were some really talented players on that team who would go on to be kind of foundational, this was some of the worst Chiefs football anyone has ever seen. Now, for Taylor, I feel like this is a time period where a lot of things are slept on, a lot of things are forgotten, even though she was putting out bangers, right? Like it was good. There's good music here, but I don't feel like she got the recognition, right? It wasn't kind of put all together, but we saw the flashes of it a little bit more than what we saw before. So then we get into the next era, which is her Speak Now, right? Technically her third album, but for a lot of people, they forget, like it feels like it's her second one. She's good. This is where she's, you see some of the relationships. This is, I think, like where she started to get that reputation for all the relationships that were broken. And similarly, the Chiefs are going through head coaches at this point, right? Sure. It's not working for Taylor. It's not working for the Chiefs, right? They're moving on from Todd Haley. They bring in Romeo Crennel. Love the old dude, but you can't be out here telling people that your cornerback's got a little groin in press conferences and expect to stick around. So in a similar fashion, they're both kind of experiencing a lot of turnover, a lot of turmoil. The Chiefs, 2010, 2011, 2012, not good times for Kansas City. Not good times, right? Now, 2012, 2014, this is where Taylor drops her Red album.
This is the turning point right here.
Red was straight fire. Red was
Red era. All right.
And now hold on. Hold on. What was the name of the album?
Red.
Who came to Kansas City in 2000 in this time period?
From Philly,
a gentleman named Big Red. Are you
Red.
with me here? I'm telling you,
it's all in the stars.
All in the stars.
Hey, Tom, where did he come from?
Where did he come from? A place I think Taylor Swift is familiar with. A little town, Philadelphia.
Oh, hey, Taylor's from where?
Wow.
And if you guys aren't familiar, we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Was it Philadelphia? It's almost like
West Reading, PA, which is a suburb of Philadelphia.
Wow, real coincidental.
She basically lived in the place where Will Smith sang about in the Fresh Prince song in West Philadelphia.
Ever heard of it? Ever heard of him?
Yes, that was my reference there. So, this is where things for both the Chiefs and Taylor Swift pick up. This is where Taylor's career, not that she wasn't doing well before, right? But this is where she started to really, really blossom. And we saw 22, and we saw, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I think that was on Red. Let me double check. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was the next one. I Knew You Were Trouble and 22 were the big. Oh no, and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. Those were all three bangers. I remember those coming out that summer. We had Taylor Swift dance parties all the time. That was my college days. That was a thing, right?
Just for a tie-in and correlation to our conversation about Cam and Travis earlier. Cam, big part in the We're Never Ever Getting Back Together thing on this tour. He has a different saying every time, every night, in every city for the Never Ever Getting Back Together part. There's some good videos of that. He's Colin Saunders' brother. If you're not familiar, he's pretty talented. Kid's pretty good at what he does.
Wow.
Again,
see how much research we did. We're educated over here at the Kingdom Says. All right, we know our Taylor Swift stuff.
I need some. I'm gonna bring the poster board and the strings next time. But as we continue, so now the Chiefs are experiencing a resurgence under Andy Reid. They're blossoming. They are in their red era. Their big red era.
Big red.
Taylor's in her red era. She is peaking. However, just like Kansas City, they and Taylor, they're really fun. They're really good, but they still it's not, the relationships aren't working out, right? For Kansas City, they couldn't find the Super Bowl. For Taylor, obviously her romantic relationships are a big part of what not only what she writes about, but it's a big part of her public image, and everyone's following it and this and in fact she gets into her in 2014 and 2017. It's the 1989 era, and there is a lot of songs about heartbreak and a lot of songs about moving on and growing. In fact, we were talking about it in the group chat, Garrett. This is where you said, Shake It Off, which was in the 1989 album. Very similarly, how the Chiefs had to shake off the curse of Bob Sutton as defensive coordinator. For those who are unaware, uninitiated, the Chiefs have not always been as good on defense as they had been. Yeah. They also this was pre-Patrick Mahomes, right? Yeah. So this was a good time, but not the best time.
Not the best times.
So similarly, the Chiefs draft Patrick Mahomes in 2017.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift drops Reputation. And this is a short one. It is a short era and had a different kind of grittier. You could tell something was changing with her. You could tell something was changing with the Chiefs, kind of a changing of the guard, some growth, some potential. It's like this is kind of some seriousness here. We're getting locked in, right? That's what we got going on. So then 2018 to 2020, right? Mm-hmm. Chiefs get their first Super Bowl ring. Taylor Swift is in some relationship with what's his name? The guy the one before Travis, Joe Allen.
Joe
Allen, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know about him. I just whatever. Way to fumble. So there's this happiness, like everything feels good in the world, right? We're doing awesome. We're rocking, we're rolling. The folklore era, again, the Chiefs are working through things.
Little stumbles.
Yeah. So again, this is where they hit some ranks. Now, here's the thing: at this point, Taylor is churning out album after album, and her fan base is growing. And she is at the peak of her game, and she still is. Right? You see this now, and in a similar way, the Chiefs peak of their game, right? Super Bowl playoff success, things that they hadn't seen before. They're blossoming. Taylor's blossoming. You see the parallel, right? You see the parallel here. And then, of course, you think about the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And it felt like, similarly, like, we have to start over. We have to rebuild. We've talked about this on the podcast, the retooling of the offensive line. They just moved on from Bob Sutton, and they're trying to fix the defense. And it's like, it's all they all this work, and they experienced the success, and they were so hopeful. And then it felt like they went backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in some ways a very, again, similar parallel to Taylor Swift's struggles with her relationships, and now we're here. But then we get into more of the current era, right? You do the work, you get there.
Yeah.
There were still some other tough times in there, right? I know the breakups and stuff. I think about the AFC Championship game loss to the Bengals, the one time they won a relevant game against Kansas City, and then went on to lose that Super Bowl.
They sure did.
Yeah. But then, as we all know, the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift cross paths, and this romance is blossoming. The Chiefs are experiencing success. They are officially a dynasty. We see, as we talked about at the top of the show, Travis, Taylor madly in love, doing things together, supporting each other. Like, this is storybook, and we are getting to watch that. And if you don't see the parallels here, if you don't see the way the stars have aligned,
you can't see the parallels. Yeah.
So, this is the best time to be a Chiefs fan, to be a Taylor Swift fan. We're in the peak of our fandoms. We're in peak offseason. I believe that not only are the Chiefs destined to win another Super Bowl, but we are destined to watch these two young lovers continue to grow and blossom. And I think this has become a storybook, and we are in for some magical stories and magical experiences, and a magical ending for both the Chiefs winning a Lombardi 3 in a row, and maybe maybe some wedding bells, maybe some lifelong, maybe some kids. No, we'll see. That's all between them. But there it is. That's my whole theory, my whole conspiracy. This is why you shouldn't tell me to not watch Draft Prospects.
Kyle. Post Tom interview. How are you thinking? How you feel about that?
I mean, he's pretty spot on throughout the entire thing. I do want to clarify before the people of Philadelphia lose their ever-loving minds. Yes, I'm aware West Reading is about 60 miles from PA. It's about an hour drive from the link. I get it. I understand.
It's the same thing.
I mean, it's an accurate description. It's
pretty accurate.
I like the correlations. We obviously, there was definitely, again, for us coming up with this idea for this episode, like 3 hours before doing it, the amount of effort and research that went in, we all pretty much dove into different pieces of it. Tom just kind of summarized what we all kind of discussed and went over here, but he's got a better description of the catalog. He's got a better knowledge of the catalog than I do. Most of the catalog that I know is either from when I was like 16.
I can't tell you. I know many.
Fun fact: she and I are the same age, pretty much.
Really?
2006. I was also 16. That's fun.
Wow.
What happens when you're born in 1990? Fun fact.
I thought she was born in 1989.
Well,
that's like her whole thing. That's her whole thing.
I know.
Yeah, close enough. She has a November birthday? Do you have
November also.
Okay, she has a January birthday, or she has a
but it's fun to see. Like, man, I talked about it earlier. It's just fun to watch the worlds kind of mesh, because we've not really seen anything like this before. Other sports have had celebrity crossovers, but not quite like this.
Not quite. This is unseen territory.
And like I said, with Travis's ability to kind of play into things, but the comparisons between Taylor's eras and the Chiefs, hilariously enough, Tom just did all that presentation, but this was actually my idea for a topic because we were talking about all this goofy stuff earlier. Because there's just not much to talk about in the off season. I mean, I could talk about the tweets that other people are putting out. Some Starcade Media quoted some fifth string tight end I've never heard of before for a quote earlier. There was other stuff out there. There was they finally cut Isaiah Buggs, so that's great. But we just thought this would be a lot more fun. And we talked about Andy Reid during this whole thing and the Big Red correlation and the Red Album conversation. And Andy took a really long time to win that first big prize, right? And I'm a big hockey guy. The Stanley Cup Finals are happening as we're recording this. And I believe, don't quote me, but I believe the coach with the most games coached without winning a Stanley Cup, who is still active, maybe ever, just won his first Stanley Cup in Paul Maurice. He also happens to be one of the better sound bites in the league, and by most accounts that I've heard, one of the better people in the league. So shout out to
Sunrise,
him.
Florida.
Not everybody's a Panthers fan. I get it. I'm a neutral party in this Stanley Cup Finals because my team's been out since the playoffs started because bad year, but it was a heck of a series. It's always fun to me when all of the rest of the sports world realizes that hockey is, in fact, the best sport to probably watch and definitely to watch in person.
Hockey was great. That game seven. That's the only hockey game I watched all year. It was great.
Stanley Cup playoffs. There's nothing like it. It's as tense
as it gets. That's the one game I watch a year, and it was great.
Well, you should probably try more often.
Yeah. But I mean, the Ducks.
For the correlation's sake, though, Andy has been kind of that respected, big time, very well liked, very well known guy for a long time, and he's getting to see his success. Panthers went last year and lost. To see him get it done this year, nice. So, I'm enjoying all of the off season. This has been as much as the stupid stuff has happened this off season, it's largely been it's the off season. Because I'll be honest, I don't know if you guys have felt this way. The last couple of off seasons in the last few years, it just felt like there was no time for oxygen or a break or air. It just felt like we were constantly in something going on, something major, this, that, whether it was a complete roster shakeup and on one side of the ball or
Chris Jones holdouts
or contract. This offseason has been like, well, they brought damn near everybody back. And
it's been kind of chill, There's been some
and there's been some off the field news, but that's mostly just guys being stupid, and that happens in the league. So,
but it's very reassuring when you're the back-to-back champs that you're not too stressed about things in life because
plus
it's just good times. Just like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are having good times right now. It's good times for Chiefs Kingdom. It's good times for everybody. That will wrap up today's episode. We really, really hope that you enjoyed our thorough breakdown. Probably don't expect this ever again. This probably will never happen again. So
there'll be plenty of silly Taylor Swift references throughout this podcast going forward. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, we will still always be big Swifties. All right, always be big Swifties.
And I just gotta say, Teardrops was a song that really put. That was like her first.
Listen,
that was like her first chart. Like, just wow, hey, she's here, and it's so funny because remember Tom talked about.
I got it.
Oh yeah, I think all of us in that era do. But country really wasn't her genre. It wasn't her peak. It's not really her. No. I mean, she's good at it, but it's not what she loves. It doesn't seem like anyway, because the transition we've seen and what she's become. It's just like the transition from Andy. He was good at it, and we liked Alex Smith, and it was fun, and it worked all right. But we had to evolve, and
we had to find ourselves, right? Had to try a lot of things that didn't work before we found what did.
And we got that 1989 era going on right around that 2017 ended, and then we got the Reputation era, which is right when Patrick started to take over. Now we're rolling, so it's just it's nice, man. It's nice.
That is nice. That's very nice. Yeah, couldn't think of a better couldn't think of a better topic to talk about for the past 45 minutes, honestly, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, it was a great episode. I'm so happy that you guys tuned in and joined us for this one. We will be back very soon with more content, hopefully more Chiefs related. Hopefully something else in the Chiefs sphere happens. Or we're really going to get crazy. You guys want more Chiefs
stuff? I'll give you a couple things. Go check out Justin Reed on the Greenlight Pod with Chris Long. That was a really good 35,
no,
38-minute interview.
We don't have anything to talk about next week.
Go check out that.
Isaiah Bugs got released. Good riddance.
Kyle said that.
Yeah.
He said that a little bit earlier. He did get released, though.
The guy who never played a snap. Cut. Wee.
Patrick Mahomes is in Portugal. Yeah.
Charles Omenihu hates Seth Kaiser.
That's true.
I mean,
that's a good bit.
That's a good
bit. Yeah, that's a good gimmick right there. That's a good gimmick.
It's a good bit. We love Seth. Charles has decided that subtweeting Seth in every workout tweet is his new personal goal. So, and it's not just for Seth; it's for all the haters. But Seth's basically the only one he's called out. So it's for Seth.
Yeah, Trey Smith was watching the Royals game tonight. So that's
hey, they won. So that might be good because maybe Trey's a good luck charm then because they had a rough end of that road trip. That bullpen is stinky.
Okay, we will not waste you guys' time anymore. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, The Kingdom Says, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Kingdom Says Pod. Check us out on there. Discord coming very soon, merch coming very soon, fun stuff coming very soon. The Chiefs football coming very soon, hopefully. We just got a little more downtime here, so we're going to keep chugging along here. And that's it. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of The Kingdom Says.